Assalamu alaikum. Muhammad's Sunday Lectures, brought to you by the Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple Unite. This Sunday's lecture will be brought to you by Brother Minister Haq Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, who appeared among us, the black man and woman of America, in the divine person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his divine servant and messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet my brothers and sisters, wherever you are, in the greeting words of peace and paradise in the Arabic language. Once again, Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, welcome to Muhammad's Temple of Islam United Sunday Lectures. These lectures are brought to you by our diligent group, those of us who are members of the Nation of Islam. Ask a friend, ask a neighbor, get some of your relatives, your family members to join us this afternoon to be a part of our great lectures that we have every Sunday at this time. If you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, the North or the South, check your time zone so you can enjoy what we have to say. At this time, brothers and sisters, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad always taught us, when we open up our lectures, we always open up in prayer, asking Allah to guide us, guide our minds and our hearts so we can deliver a sound and vibrant and sobering message that is life-giving and life-saving. So, if you will, please join us in the Muslim opening prayer. We extend our hands in this manner, and please follow me silently in the Muslim opening prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Surely I have turned myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to he who has originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, in this I am commanded. I am those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So please grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thou. And guide me unto the best of morals, as thou, for none guides into the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none turns away the evil and the indecent morals but thee. O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and the followers of Muhammad successful, here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did make Abraham and the followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified. And O Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did bless Abraham and the followers of Abraham. For surely thou art praised and magnified. Amen. Once again, brothers and sisters, we thank you for joining us this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are, in Muhammad's Sunday Lectures, brought to you by Muhammad's Temple of Islam United. We could never, ever thank Allah. If we lived 1,000 years, we could never, ever thank him for raising up in our midst a leader, a teacher, and a guide in the person of the most honorable and humble, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm listening, brothers and sisters, I'm listening throughout Black America. I listen to the conversations on radio, on the podcasts, and I'm beginning to hear people begin to talk about the program and the plan that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had for us. I'm beginning to hear people, if not mentioning his name, but mentioning a lot of things that he taught us. I'm hearing this today. I'm beginning to hear this here. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, because I came in the nation back in 1965 and 66, he told us back then, he said, as time goes on in the future, you would hear many of the people, many of the black preachers and the black leaders take on the language of the Nation of Islam. They may not give us the credit. They may not give the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the credit that he deserves, but they will mention many of the things that he talked about. All praises are due to Allah. Now, brothers and sisters, I always say, this is something that I mention all the time. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings are very simple, are very plain, but deep. And we as his followers, we try to present to you what he was taught from God in person. It didn't come from him. It came from God. He would always say that. He said, I'm teaching you what God told me to say to you. So these teachings that we are giving you are from God in person through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay? They are very plain. They're very simple. And I want you to listen. We're not going to be here a long time this afternoon, but I want you to really focus on what I'm saying, what we are saying, to give you the solutions to the problems that people today are crying out for, that our people in particular are crying out for. They are asking for leadership. They're asking for solutions. In this time of Donald Trump, who I'm very familiar with, I'm going to tell you a story one day about my relationship and my family's relationship with Donald Trump. I'm from New York City. His father, Fred Trump, was responsible for my family being homeless. I'm not going to do that today. That's another subject. But what we are talking about today, and this is something I did 2 subjects on previously. It was called Do for Self. That is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad always taught us. He said, do something for yourself. Stop depending on the white man to do for you what you can do for yourself. I did 2 subjects on that. Go back into the archive, so to speak, and listen to it. But I also understand from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you cannot do anything for yourself until you love yourself. Okay? So my subject today is first love yourself. I will repeat that. First love yourself. self that may sound a little cliche-ish. It may sound a little corny to some, but it's profound and it's right. Nothing can exist without having some kind of love and concern and deep sympathy or empathy for itself. You cannot do anything for yourself unless you love yourself. Do for self is predicated on love for self. Doing something for yourself is predicated, brothers and sisters, on loving oneself. Okay? Now, as members of the Nation of Islam, as ministers in the Nation of Islam, we were always taught when you introduce something, go to the root of it. Go to the etymology of it. Where did that word come from? So I use the word predicated. You cannot do anything for yourself unless you love yourself, and love is predicated. It's a predicated situation. What does that mean? Predicated means a specific action. A specific action. An action, that's a verb. It means you have to do something. It has to be some kind of movement. It has to be a thought that comes from your mind that produces an action. Okay? Stay with me so far. Also, predicated means the existence of truth of a particular thing. So truth has to be in there. It can't be a lie. It can't be misinformation or disinformation. It has to be pure truth. And the truth of the matter is, brothers and sisters, we have to do something for ourselves. Look what's happening in America. Look at all the programs. Look at all the initiatives that Donald Trump and his administration is taking away. Stuff that our people fought and died for. And the white man has never given us anything. First of all, let's get out of that thought that the white man gave you something. Ever since we have been here, and we've been here over 450 years, robbed from our motherland and brought to America, and everything that we achieved, everything that we have today, we fought and some of our people died for. They didn't give us nothing. Okay? Let's get that out of our mind. Stop telling your children that the white man gave you something. So, it is unmistakably important to understand that anytime you have to do something for yourself, you have to have the love in your heart. You have to have the love of self in order to do something for yourself. Now, we're always, all of us, black people in particular, in general, always pointing to other people about how successful they are. Why are they successful? They're successful because they love themselves. You look at the Chinese. The Chinese shop with each other. The Chinese live around each other. The Chinese produce products. The Chinese do everything that perpetuates their life because they're in love with each other. They have a love for each other. That is instilled within them from childhood, from birth. You look at the Italians. You can go to an Italian community and see how they interact with each other. Do they have problems with each other? Of course they do. Do they have differences with each other? Of course they do. Do they have contradictions among themselves? Of course they do. But they have a deep, intrinsic love for their people. And that love for their people allows them to do things that help perpetuate their life and their lifestyle. You got to love where you live at. You have to love your community. You have to love your people unconditionally. And I'm going to tell you something with black people. In order to work with black people, you have to love them. Because they will run you to hell. Yeah, black people they're something else, man. We are something else. I know who we are because I'm one of you. So our subject, remember, is first, number one, love yourself. Now, we already told you that do for self is predicated on love of self. You can't do anything for yourself until you love yourself. Okay? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you cannot achieve success without that component of love of self. You can't do it. And I keep repeating that, brothers and sisters, because I want to drive home the idea of love of self. You know, I grew up, and many a times, of some of you may have heard of how we talk about each other. And I hate when I still hear those kind of terms today. And black people, I hear it all the time. You know why we can't do nothing? Because we ain't got no unity. The reason why we don't have unity, because we don't love ourselves. That is another component. You cannot have true unity unless you love yourself. I remember as a young FOI, a young fruit of Islam. I was in my teens. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I used to love the headlines of the Muhammad Speak newspaper. And one particular year, one particular issue, I should say, the headlines of the Muhammad Speak newspaper that particular week, because it used to come out every week, it says, we must force black unity. I say it again. The headlines of the Muhammad Speak newspaper, that particular edition, said, this is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying this here. He said, we, talking about black people, must force black unity. Why do you have to force somebody to do something? When you force somebody to do something, it means that they are resistant. That means that they don't know what to do. It means that they don't have an idea and they are pulling against that which should be automatically natural. But he said we must force black unity, because we at that time, we were so divided and the white man was pulling us here and there. He said, listen, we're going to have to force black unity. And we might have to do that today, brothers and sisters. If not, then circumstances, conditions will force us to come together. Okay? In our community, we can look at the buildings. We can look at the environment. I remember one time, I used to drive my children, my grandchildren in particular, and my children through a section of the white community. There's a section where I live. I'm trying to remember the name of Midwood. And it's on a street called Bedford Avenue. And it's maybe about 25 or 30 blocks. I would just put my children in the car and I would drive. And the homes there were primarily owned by Jews. And it's been that way since I was a little boy. So we're driving and I'm letting my children see, I did it purposely. And these beautiful homes, some of them were mansions. The streets were clean. It was a tree-lined streets. No garbage on the street. I mean, it was super duper clean, mad clean. And my children are looking. They're observing. I did it purposely to show them that we can live the same way. We can live the same way. And I remember one day my grandson was attending, at the time, Muhammad's University of Islam in Harlem. And I was driving up Lenox Avenue, that is now known as Malcolm X Boulevard. And he's looking, he must have been maybe about 10 years old. And I mean, he saw the garbage in the buildings and the trash and the broken windows. And I mean, he said, Dad, Dad, he called me Daddy, not Grandpa, because I basically raised him. He said, Daddy, why does it look like that out here? He remembers going through the white community or the Jewish community, and then he was comparing it with what he's seen in Harlem. He seemed quite disturbed by it. He couldn't understand why our community looked like that. So the reason why their community had a better upkeep, because those people not only love each other, but they love where they live. And when you love where you live, you keep it clean. You keep it decent. You keep it safe. They own, in that community I was just telling you about, they have their own ambulance service or EMS service, and they have their own security service because they love their community. So, do for self is predicated on self-love. Okay? You got to love yourself. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. We are not here as followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to condemn you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we don't condemn the victim. We go to work on the victim. And we raise the black man and woman up to see who they are. Because also, not only do you have to love yourself, you have to understand self in order to have a love of yourself. The understanding of self is another subject that I plan to do, because you can't love yourself unless you understand self. But we are dealing and talking today on first love yourself. Let's move right on, brothers and sisters. Just stay with me a few minutes, and we're going to get through this here, but we're going to make it clear, because we want to give you solutions. We just don't talk about the problem. We want to give you a solution to your problem. For every problem, there is a solution. And never doubt that. And stop saying that we are so divided. We don't have any unity. I used to hear black people say, niggas ain't nothing and never be nothing. Do you imagine hearing that when you were a child? We ain't never got nothing. We ain't gonna never do nothing. That's why we can't do nothing, because we ain't got no unity. What you're doing, you're perpetuating a negative force that is penetrating your mind, and you're passing it on to your children and your offspring. Okay. Now, first, love yourself. In the great book by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called Message to the Black Man in America. If you don't have a copy, get a copy, okay? Because he deals exclusively about the love of self. On page 32, remember, you can go check it out once you get your own book. It's under the chapter, The Original Man, Know Thyself. But one of the chapters in this particular book is called First Love Yourself. That's where I took this subject from. I try to go right to his teachings. We can talk about all other things, but he is our guide. He's our leader. He's our teacher. He's the point man that we go to because we don't know nothing, brothers and sisters. We know some things, but the Holy Quran said, say he, Allah, is the best knower. There's other knowers, but Allah is the best of knowers. Okay? So let us read a paragraph that talks about the love of self. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, one of the greatest handicaps among the so-called American Negro is that there is no love for self. He mentions it clearly and plainly. No sugarcoating, no whipped cream and cherry on top. He said the gravest enemy or the greatest handicap of the so-called American Negro, the black man and woman of America, is the lack of love of self. The love for his kind and his being. He said, this not having love for self is the root cause of hate and dislike, of disunity, disagreement, quarreling, betraying, stool pigeons, fighting, and killing one another. You know, in the animal kingdom, they have an instinctive connection with each other. See, they can't reason like we can, but they have, you can call it a love, but it's really a connection of the species. So they don't hurt each other. They bind together for their survival. And that's just on an instinctive level. But when you have knowledge, when you have a brain, if you can think, then you have to find that love and come together and understand your love has to be deep and unconditional. Mr. Muhammad goes on to say, how can you be loved if you have not love for self? You know, in the world of psychology and psychiatry, they said a hurt person hurts people. An unloved person cannot love. An unloved person doesn't know what love is. So we were taught by an enemy. We were taught by the man, the people, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said had no love for us. He styled them as the white man, Yakub's grafted devil. He said they were weak-boned, weak-blooded, and stale-faced, and they had no love. They're empty in their hearts. And so they put that in us for us to hate each other, and it gave us no love for ourselves because we didn't have the love. And if you notice, today, many of our young children and many of our people in general, they go to beauty salons, they get all dressed up. They wear all kinds of designer clothes. They wear jewelry, they get their nails done, their eyelashes, they put on makeup, they get makeovers, they're wearing all kind of expensive Nike sneakers because a lot of the time they are empty inside. So because to cover that emptiness or to try to deal with that emptiness, they put all of this stuff on the outside. And they're saying, look at me. Could you see me? You know, I look pretty good. I got a nice suit on, a beautiful tie, white shirt. But these are just clothes. But I understand through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that these are just materials. I'm not looking for somebody to see me, to recognize me, or to qualify me. I know who I am because of Mr. Muhammad's teachings and what Allah has put into him. Okay? He goes on to say, how can you be loved if you have not love for yourself and your own nation and dislike being a member of your own? Then what nation will trust you or to trust your love and be a member? See, what he's saying is, how could other nations respect you if you don't respect yourself? How could other nations and other people have any kind of sympathy or empathy for you if you don't have it for yourself? They cannot see that. And it's a shame. It's a downright shame that we see all these videos on social media where our people are fighting, and you see two women ripping off their clothes, their breasts and their private parts are being shown, and people are filming it and people are edging it on, and go ahead, do that. It is disgraceful. What have we come to when we glorify violence and disrespect, not only for each other, but our women, our young girls? Because the love of self is not there. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, our people always say, I love everybody. Those who say they love everybody loves nobody. How are you going to love everybody? Love is a word. It's an abstract word. It's a kind of like undefined word, because in order to love someone, you have to know that person. You have to have a relationship with that person. You have to spend time with that person. You have to know certain ins and outs of that person. You can't say you walk up to somebody and say you love them. That's not true. If your daughter came home or your son came home and told you, Mom, I love everybody in this community, and that person, that child, that daughter, that son never even met anybody in the community, how are you going to love something you don't even know anything about? Mr. Muhammad says, whoever says they love everybody loves nobody. You ever heard the term love at first sight? It's not true. This is why 50% of the marriages in America end in divorce. Did you know that? Because the first thing they say, oh, I love you. I can't live without you. I just love everything about you. And the following week you dumped her, threw her in the garbage. The woman says that to the man. Oh, I love you. I can't live without you. My love is deeper than the sea. I will climb over mountains just to be with you. I love you, baby. Next week she with somebody else, telling that same person the same thing she told you. So be careful when you say the love. You need to understand what this is about. Now, many of our people were raised in the church. And, they teach in the church you should love. You shouldn't hate. I mean, basically, you shouldn't hate people. But God said, and Jesus said, he hates the doers of iniquity. So Jesus hated. He had a mindset to hate, but he hated for a reason. He said, I hate the doers of iniquity, which means the doers of evil. I hate the shoes that I wear. I hate the way I smell. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand the aspects of love and hate before you use those words. Now, In 1 Peter, it says, love the brotherhood. Love the brotherhood. But again, I say, as I said earlier, it has to be predicated on something. Okay? In 1 Peter, in the Bible, which we believe it has some truth, it says, love the brotherhood and fear God. Okay, first it introduces love the brotherhood. Very basic, very simple. You should love the brotherhood. But that brotherhood should be based on something tangible, concrete, trustworthy. We cannot use and abuse each other. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you love your brother, you will share with your brother or sister. He said, if you have a bowl of soup, these are very simple things, brothers and sisters. He said, if you have a bowl of soup, you will share half of that bowl of soup with your brother. You would not see your brother suffer. And likewise, you cannot exploit your brother. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was against many, many things when it came to us dealing with each other. Not only the Muslim or members of the Nation of Islam, he was talking to all our people. He said, if you borrow something from a brother, pay that brother back. Don't exploit him. You go buy from the white man, but you won't repay your brother. You would go to the white man's store. If your brother has a store, you walk right by it. You won't patronize your own people. I have a black bank that I deposit my money in. I also have a bank that is a white-owned bank that I have my money in. I'm not a fool. I understand a little bit about finance, but my love for my people makes me bank with a black bank. But I also understand I have to do certain kinds of businesses because that black bank may not have the kind of services that I'm looking for. But my love for them, my first love, is to bank with my brother. But the white bank has certain services that I can use. You see? All of us, I get all my toilet paper that I use from a black-owned company. I get my laundry detergent from a black-owned company. Some of us won't even go out and seek a company. We're just so programmed that we automatically, because we don't have self-love or love for self, we go to the white man. You're almost like a mechanical robot. Just instantaneously, you will go out and do that. Okay? I understand. I remember I worked in one of the restaurants in the Nation of Islam, the Shabazz restaurant. And there was a store owned by two of the brothers in the nation. They were grocery stores, small mini marks. We know of the great supermarkets, but they were a mini mart, Shabazz grocery store. And there was times that I was in there, brothers and sisters, families. And the Shabazz grocery store was located in a black community called Bedford-Stuyvesant, near the Brevoort projects. And brothers and sisters would come. I would be in there from Connecticut, from New Jersey, from Delaware. They will travel. They traveled from those cities, those states, just to come and patronize their brother, because they were members of the Nation of Islam and they were in love with their people. And that's why you notice you buy that Chinese food, chicken wings and French fries and egg foo young and shrimp and broccoli, as you like to eat, and pork fried rice. Yeah. But you notice all of those Chinese people that in there, you don't see them shopping in the white supermarket. You may see one or two. You know where they go? They go to the Korean or the Chinese supermarket. You see the Chinese, you see the Spanish do the same thing. You see the Irish, you see the Italians, you see the Germans. I live in a community that is adjacent to another community, a community that is that where the Russians and the Ukrainians live. The place is vibrant. I mean, businesses are just going out of style there, man. I use the word out of style. That's an old term, but it means that it's things are happening there. They got restaurants, spas. They got beauty parlors. They got jewelry shops, and they're all packed in there. And they don't even live right there in the community. They travel miles because they have a love for their people. Now, in 1 Peter, it says love the brotherhood, but it goes a little further. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad points out, again, in the Message to the Black Man, he says there's a parable in the Bible called the Good Samaritan. We've heard, some of us heard the story before, the Good Samaritan. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, in 1 Peter, it says, Peter 1:2-17, love one another. Love of self comes first. The one who loves everybody is the one who does not love anybody. This is a false teachings of the Christians, for the Christians war against Christians. They have the Bible so twisted by adding in and taking out of the truth that it takes only God and one from God to give the knowledge of the book and to understand the book. Now, because our people love to invoke that idea, we should love our neighbor. But let me tell you what Jesus said about loving the neighbor. Okay? He points out the parable. Now, a parable is just a symbol. It doesn't mean it actually happened. A parable, a symbol, a sign of something. So you can understand the wisdom and the knowledge of that which is trying to give you to understand. In the book of Luke, in the 10th chapter to 25th and to the 37th verse, it talks about the Good Samaritan. It's a good story. It's a simple story. It's a very profound story. And it gives you just basic principles how to love something. Let's find that. Okay. We're in the book of Luke here, in the Bible. The 10th verse, it says, the question was asked. He was praying in a certain place, and when he ceased, he sat with one of his disciples, said to him, Lord, talking to Jesus, he was sitting with some of the disciples, and one of the disciples said, Lord, teach us to pray, as John has also taught his disciples. And he said, Oh, Father, how could we enter the kingdom of heaven? So Jesus said, listen, he said, love thy neighbor. Okay? So it goes on to say, a lawyer. Now, why did a lawyer stand up? A lawyer stood up and questioned Jesus and said, who is thy neighbor? Now, a lawyer is a trained legal professional, okay? So the Bible describes a lawyer standing up and questioning Jesus because the disciples wanted to know, how could they be saved? How could they enter the kingdom of heaven. He said you have to love God with all your heart, with all your body, and with all your soul. See? But Jesus knew he had to go further to teach them the aspect of love. So the lawyer stands up. You know, my wife's grandmother used to call lawyers liars. She said, they ain't nothing but liars. Lawyers only means a liar. But that was her being funny. But anyway, a lawyer stands up, a legal professional. He asked Jesus, who is thy neighbor? And Jesus gave the story or the parable of the Good Samaritan. Okay? Now here it is. Just give me a second, because I want to read this here, brothers and sisters. Book of Luke. It says, and a man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. Here's a man on a journey. He's traveling. He leaves Jerusalem, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the word Jerusalem is a Hebrew word which means founded in peace. He was coming from a peaceful environment to Jericho. Jericho is a difficult place. Jerusalem is a peaceful place. You understand so far, brothers and sisters? Okay. We're moving right along. We're almost moving to our end of our subject. So that same person, that same man that was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho fell among some thieves. They called them ruffians. You call them today bullies and exploiters and slave masters. Okay? They beat him up. They roughed him up. They wounded him very badly, and they left him to die on the side of a road. You see the picture so far? It's a parable. It's trying to teach us something. Because Jesus said, love thy neighbor. Okay? The lawyer asked, who is thy neighbor? So, as the man that was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho is laying on the side of the road, a priest comes by. Looks at him, observes him, and keeps on moving. Then a Levite comes by. The Levite checks him out, looks a little closer, shows a little bit of sympathy, but not enough to do anything, and keeps it moving. But a third person comes by. He is called the Samaritan. He's from a place called Samaria. It's a place that people have love, that people have sympathy, that people have knowledge, that people have understanding, that people are people who are highly evolved in truth and righteousness. So this Samaritan sees the man on the road, picks him up, dusts him off, cleans him up, heals his wounds, and takes him to an innkeeper, like a hotel, and told the man in the hotel, take care of him, clean him up, give him a place, and I'll take care of everything else. All praises are due to Allah. He said, not only, the Samaritan says, not only will I do all these things for him, I will pray for him and will make sure that he is well established and that he is going his way to salvation. The Samaritan showed mercy. Where do you get mercy from? In the Holy Quran. Every chapter opens up in the name of Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. You cannot have beneficence. You cannot have benevolence. You cannot have mercy unless you have love in your hearts, brother. As a child, I never, ever, I don't know where it came from, but I never treated my people bad. Even though when I was in the street, I did some things. Yes, I did. But for some reason, I always had some kind of love for my people. I never wanted to see people treated bad. Even when I used to roll with my friends in the street, I used to say, nah, man, we can't do that. I didn't want to go beyond that. They said, man, shut up, Ron. We're going to do this, son. But I never had that kind of emptiness in me. So it said the Good Samaritan showed love. Okay? Show love. And you cannot have mercy unless you have love in your heart. Okay? And Jesus told his disciples, go and do likewise. Now, why did I tell that story? Why did I give you from the book of Luke, the story of the parable of the Good Samaritan? Because that is a complete and beautiful story of the black man and woman of America. We were robbed by some ruffians called the white man, the European. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad called them devils. Said they are the skunk of the planet Earth. There's no love in them for us. They captured us as we were on our journey in our land and time. And they beat us up. They roughed us up. They left us to die in the hells of North America. They took the raiment. Your raiment is your knowledge. You know, that which you wear on your head. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in the beginning, he gave the FOI fairs. It was in a circle, which means 360 degrees of knowledge. And it had a crescent in the middle of the FOI symbol, which means the sun, the moon, the star, freedom, justice, and equality. And you cannot, under no circumstances, give freedom, justice, and equality unless you have love of self first. Like the man from Jerusalem, we were left to die. The priest came by, the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church. So these are the priests, the Methodist Church, the Episcopalian Church, the church of the what's happening right now church. They came to us, but they exploited us as a people. They told us our heaven was in the sky, that we can only receive it after we die. That was a lie. That was the priest. Okay? Listen. Then the Levite comes by. Levite is a Hebrew word. That was the Jew. Okay? You have Levite levies bread, uneven bread, which is called matzah. You have in New York City, in a place called Long Island, you have Levittown, Levi, which comes from the word Levite. The Jews looked at us. They looked a little closer than the priests. Some of the Jews used to represent us. They would march with Dr. Martin Luther King in the civil rights movement. But they never had that deep love for us. They had more reason to exploit us than they had love for us. So the Levite looked a little closer and showed a tinge of sympathy, but kept it moving. And that's what they did to us in America. And it wasn't until in 1930, a man by the name of W.D. Farad met with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1931. They said he had been in and out of America for 20 years. He was studying the black people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the first time he saw him, the very first time he heard him, he said, I know who this man is. He's the Good Samaritan. He's God in person. And he was the only one cleaned us up, showed love for us, gave us name, took the slave master's name, from us and gave us original holy names. They said he was so concerned for us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would cry at the conditions of his people. He said, he told Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I am the one. I heard your prayers. I heard your moaning and your yearning for freedom, justice, and equality. He was the Good Samaritan. He cleaned us up. He took us to the innkeeper. The innkeeper was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, help him out. I'm giving you the task. I'm giving you the yoke that you should carry to clean these people up. And you deliver that message. Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the innkeeper. And he told all of his followers, likewise, you do likewise as Master Farad Muhammad taught me to do for you. And that has to come for the love of self. All praises are due to Allah. Just telling that story just gives me the chills to know that there's someone that loved us even though we didn't love ourselves. As I near my conclusion, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to impart a couple of other things to leave you with. You know what? We show more sympathy. We show more love to other people than we do for ourselves. Let me give you an example. Some of you might remember this. In 1998, there was a black man in Jasper, Texas, by the name of James Byrd. You might remember him. He was with some white boys, about 3 of them. They were on a pickup truck drinking beer. I don't know where they met James Byrd. He was a black man. But they all drinking beer on the truck. Not long after, they took his body. They chained him to the truck. And his body was on the ground, but the chains was on him, and they drug him for miles and miles. He was screaming for his life. They left him. When they finally stopped, he had no arms and no legs. He just had a torso. This is what these devils did to him. Okay? They didn't love him. They dragged him for miles. And you know what? When they found out, they found him. They found the white boys. I believe they gave them life in prison. And I don't know if they gave them the death penalty. I have to look that up. But I clearly remember that. Because I remember when the Black Panther Party went down there with Khalid, Minister Khalid. And they went there, they said they're going to arrest them white boys. They're going to do a citizen's arrest of those white boys that killed James Byrd. But that's not the point I wanted to make. We are so forgiving. The mother of James Byrd, you know what she said? Good Christian woman. She said, I forgive those men that killed my son. See what I'm saying? Where did that come from? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that's that twisted Christian concept and idea that it's good to forgive. It is good to forgive, but it's also, the Holy Quran teaches us, I encourage, you don't use that word, it says that revenge is imparted upon you. But forgiveness is better if you but believe or understand. You don't hear them Jews asking for forgiveness, forgiving those Germans, what they said they did to them in Germany during the Holocaust. You don't hear no Jews saying they forgive the Germans. In fact, they hunted down some of the very Germans that were involved in what they call the Holocaust in Germany under Adolf Hitler. They hunted Adolf Eichmann. They hunted down Himmler. These were generals under Hitler. Hunted them down. They didn't say they forgive them. Oh no. Oh no. Yes, sir. And Mama Bird said she forgave those men for killing her son. God bless her. She just didn't know. That's that forgiveness that we have for others, but no love for ourselves. Then there was a white female in Texas again. I don't know what's going on in Texas, but it happens all over America. But for some reason, these things happened in Texas. There was a white female police officer. Her name was Amber Geiger. Remember her? Black man in a housing complex. Sitting in his room, I think he was watching television or playing a video game. She busts down the door. This was in 2018. 2018. She shoots him to death. Says she went to the wrong apartment. She lives in the apartment. How the hell are you going to go to the wrong apartment? You know where you live. The man, the brother's name was Botha. Jean Botha. Or Botha Jean. The man never had a chance to defend himself or to say who he was. She killed him in cold blood. They arrested her, they charged her, they convicted her, and they sentenced her to 10 years. The brother of the man that was murdered in the courtroom said he forgives this woman who killed his brother. He went even further. He got up and went up and hugged her. Could you believe that? Where is that? What kind of love is that? That's a twisted love. You ever see, sometime in relationships, a black woman or a woman is brutalized. And the first thing she says sometimes, oh, he beat me, he hit me because he really loves me. See, that's a twisted love or a twisted relationship. She's transforming her feelings for him and justifying what he's doing to her. And that's what's happening. Not only in this case in Texas, Dallas, Texas, with Amber Geiger, the female police officer, white woman, but the judge, a black woman, she come from behind the judge a podium and hugs the white woman and also forgives her. Do you believe that? Where did that come from? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it comes from that twisted Christian out of control mindset that the white man put, that we love them and hate ourselves. How come we don't show those kind of love for each other? We will never be able to do for self, brothers and sisters, until we develop that deep love for each other. They called the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam racist. See, you don't let them call you racist. They said, well, black people practice racism. No, see, you don't understand. See, we go to the root word. We go to the etymology of words. We break it down. We'll tell you what the word, nothing wrong with the word racist. Stop saying that. When you play, if a man plays a piano, he studied the piano. He puts all his life in the study of the piano. He puts all his time and effort in the piano. What do you call him? A pianist, right? If a person studied the violin, if a person practices day and night and puts all of his efforts, or she puts all of her efforts in the violin, you call her what? A violinist, okay? If a man plays the drums, he plays the congas, you call him a percussionist, right? Because he spends all of his time and effort and love for that instrument. If a man is a botanist is one who studies plants and seeds and all kinds of greenery. You call him a botanist. Nothing wrong. If a man puts effort in perpetuating the lifestyle of his race, if a man or woman shows concern and effort to transform and maintain the viability of their race, if a man or woman concentrates on the love of their race, that person is a racist. And it doesn't mean that they're against anyone else. Marcus Garvey said, race first. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, first, love yourself. I used to play whist. Some of you play big whist. I used to play whist. I used to call myself a whistologist. I haven't played in a long time. I think I forgot the game. But I used to say I'm a whistologist because I knew the game. I knew how to play it. I knew how to throw that trump card. I knew all the game of whist. So I was a whistologist, okay? Whenever God raises up a man, raises up a prophet or a messenger, he raises that prophet and messenger with the love in his heart for the people that he is to come to give them freedom, justice, and equality and life. Jesus came to the children in the house of Israel. Said, don't go among the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Go to the children that were in bondage in the house of Israel. That's nobody but us, brothers and sisters. We are in bondage in the house called America. Well, you say, well, Prophet Muhammad, may peace and the blessings of Allah be upon him. He was a universal prophet. We don't question that. We don't negate that. He came, I believe, with a universal message because in Islam, the way Islam is, it's a universal concept in its root. But Prophet Muhammad came to the Arabs first. That's right. He came to his people first. In the Holy Quran, in the 35th surah, or the 35th chapter, the 35th chapter, and the 24th verse, I'm going to read. In the 24th verse, it says, surely, which is giving you an affirmation. Surely, this is no doubt here. This is definite. Surely, we have sent thee with the truth as a bearer of good news and a warner. A messenger is nothing but a warner. And a warner, and there is no people, but a warner has come among them. See? Prophet Muhammad sent to the Arabs as a warner on his first journey or his first effort. Likewise, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was sent, or raised up, I should say, among us as a warner. So don't tell me that the Prophet Muhammad came for everybody. Not in the beginning, but his message did spread. But he had a hard time, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, with them white Arabs, because that's what they were. That's right. They gave him a hard time. He had to make them get on their knees and pray and prostrate. This is where the institution of prayer comes from, where you prostrate and you bow your head. He had to force them into submission. They wanted to kill him. So here we are, brothers and sisters. We have to do something for self. We have to do something for ourselves, but we can never ever do anything for ourselves unless we have the love of self. You may say, Brother Minister, how do we get love? First of all, as an individual, you got to look in the mirror. You have to do what is called self-analyzation, self-critique, and ask yourself, do I love myself first as an individual? And the way you go further, what have I done for myself? Am I eating the right things to preserve my life? Am I going to the doctor? Am I cleaning? Am I washing myself? Am I taking my money? Am I working in the community that I live in and participate in the preservation of my community? You got to check yourself out first. I used to I used to have family meetings with my young children. They were like 10, 9, or 12 years old, 5 years old, and I used to gather in a circle I think it would be every Tuesday or Wednesday night, and I would tell them, tell me about what I'm doing. Tell me, am I showing any preference to each and every one of y'all? And they would tell me, Daddy, I don't like the way you did Karima. Why do you allow Gaddafi to do this here? These are my children. You know, my youngest daughter said, Sawyer, she said, Daddy, how come I can't live forever when God can live forever? I don't even remember how I answered that question. But that was profound. But I did that because I was showing them that I can analyze my own self. That's where you start first. And then you transmit that to your family. And let your family transmit it to the community and to the nation. That's where it starts. But you have to know yourself in order to love yourself. That's another subject. How do you know yourself? Who are you? Where did you come from? If your name is Lawrence Williams, is that your name or is that your character? My name is Priscilla Green. Is that your name? Is that who you are? Who are you? Who are you, my sister? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you're the queen of the planet Earth, the mother of civilization. And you have to go into that and find out how that transmits into your life. I want to read one last thing as I close from the Message to the Black Man, written by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that was published in 1965, that is relevant today. On page 33, the last paragraph, page 33. He says, love yourself and your kind. Let us refrain from doing evil to each other. We got to stop doing evil to each other, because you can't condemn the white man and you're just as evil, you're just as combative, you're just as brutal to each other, but then you point out the white man's brutality and evil against you. So he said, let us love each other as brothers and sisters, as we are the same flesh and blood. In this way, you and I will not have trouble uniting. You got to institute that love, and that unity will automatic. I'm talking to each and every one of our people, whether you're a Hebrew, whether you're a Christian. These are black people I'm talking about. Whether you are a gang member, whether you are a professional, whether you're an actor or actress, whether you are a member of the Nation of Islam. I'm talking to the Nation of Islam too, members of the Nation of Islam. We have to also be the prime example. Don't tell me you want unity and you are not tolerant of your brother or your sister. You can do slings and arrows at me. That's all right. I'll take them. I'll take your criticism. You can shoot me with all your criticism. I'll take it. Because my love for you is greater than the arrows in your disunity that you display. That's what I got from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I've seen people claim that they are fearless. And when they were confronted by white men, I've seen them fold like a cheap camera. I've seen them punk out cowards in the face of the white man. When they attacked our temple in Harlem, the brothers, Allah was with them. And we whipped those devils behind. The police officers, and there was dozens of those police officers. But in 1962 in Los Angeles, they attacked the mosque. Temple number 27. And after that attack, Malcolm was angry. He wanted to fight. The messenger said, calm down. Told him to calm down. So Malcolm, fall back. At ease, soldier. The messenger said, the Muslims got weak during that period, and Allah didn't give you the victory. But he said that you cannot go and attack the white men because they got more weapons, they got more forces than you. He said, take the Muhammad Speak newspaper and go out and raise the dead. That's how you fight them, and Allah will give you the victory. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, it is the fool who does not love himself and his people. Your black skin is the best, and never change its color. Stay away from intermarrying and intermixing with the slave masters. Love yourself and kind. And once you love yourself and kind, brothers and sisters, you will have unity, you will have prosperity, you will have production, and you wouldn't care what the hell Donald Trump and his administration do. You will do for self under the aspect of love of self. So with that, I conclude in the name of Allah and in the name of his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who met God in person, I greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, thank you again for listening to us this afternoon, and I hope you learned something. We weren't here to offend you in any way. We hope that we gave you something to work with and to instill that love that is so much needed. So you will hear some information after I close out in prayer that will be helpful on you being a part, if you will, like to help us in what we're doing. So I will close out in prayer, and follow me in the Muslim closing prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us along the right path, along the path of those who thou hast bestowed favors, but not along the path of those whom thy wrath is brought down, nor along those who go astray. Say, He Allah is one God. Allah is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets not, nor is He begotten, and there is none like Him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be praised or worshipped besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is His last and greatest messenger to we, the black man and woman of America. Amen.
Believe what you are taught today on Islam is true, and you would like to learn more, or you are ready to accept and reclaim your own, contact the Lost Foundation of Islam Muhammad's Temple United at 623-312-4352. Again, that's 623-312-4352. We thank you for joining us today, and we ask that you return next Sunday and invite your family and friends. We ask your support so that we may continue to get the truth out to our people.
The time is now, black man and woman. Your nation awaits you. Assalamu alaikum.